Hello, good day, classmates and sir. This is May Oloya, and I will discuss about making schools inclusive by evolving inclusive practices.
In 2002, Booth and Ainscough came with an index for inclusion, which aims to direct educational institutions toward developing their own next steps and action plans if they want to restructure into becoming more inclusive. Here are the three dimensions in the index. First dimension is creating inclusive cultures. Second is producing inclusive policies. And the third, which I will discuss, is the evolving inclusive practices. Now, let us define what is evolving inclusive practices is. This is the dimension where administrators must first try to create an inclusive culture among its stakeholders, then build better, more all-encompassing policies.
So, dito po, yung administrators, sila po muna ang mag-create ng inclusive cultures with the stakeholders or staffs. Then, from them, gagawa sila ulit ng more broader or wider inclusive culture.
Here, inclusive teaching practices are expected. The term evolving here assumes that we already have strategies in place which we just have to revisit for possible tweaking. It suggests advancement and positive growth, which means we can look at these existing strategies and just adjust this according to the needs of our students along the way.
So, meaning po, yung strategies, andyan na sila. We will just improve or adjust them according sa kinakailangan ng student.
We have two effective evidence-based inclusive practices that can be used in the classroom. First is the Universal Design for Learning or the UDL, and the second is differentiated instruction. So, what is Universal Design for Learning? In architecture, universal design refers to structures that were made in such a way that they can be used by customers or clients with a wide range of needs. Such designs ensure accessibility for all.
So, sa universal design for learning daw po, it ensures accessibility para sa lahat. From the word universal, meaning applicable po siya or can be used by all. Example po dito ay yung malls. Yung malls po natin, di ba po, may mga elevators, escalators, ramps, wide na daanan, tas mga signs. In-anticipate na nila sa paggawa ng malls na yung ibang customers ay naka-wheelchair or may mga special needs.
UDL refers to the design of instructional materials and activities to make the content information accessible to all children. It is best used in a general education classroom where learners are different. Through the provision of delivering content and allowing students to construct learning in more than one way, UDL ensures that all students learn genuinely.
For example, a teacher let her students read a book, pero yung ibang students niya ay hindi pa masyado nakakabasa. In UDL, yung gagawin na approach ni teacher is siya na lang ang magbabasa ng book sa buong klase. In-anticipate na ni teacher na yung ibang students niya ay still can't read, so she will be the one who will read it para yung information mula sa book ay ma-access ng lahat ng kanyang students.
Universal Design for Learning have three elements. First is the multiple means of representation. In UDL, teachers are supposed to present information and materials in many different ways, taking into consideration that some students may have not fully absorbed the lesson the first time it was presented. The concept of multiple means of representation is meant to ensure that all students are able to access and understand learning material. For example, si teacher ay nagkaroon ng lesson through words or verbal discussion. Then, yung ibang students niya ay hindi pa masyadong naintindihan yung lesson. Kaya si teacher ay magpapakita ng pictures or videos para mas maintindihan ng students ang kanyang lesson.
Second element to UDL is the multiple means of action and expression.
The concept of this is teachers allow students to express what they learned in various ways. For example, si student ay may disability like she can't hear or talk. Hindi niya ma-express yung sarili niya sa pagsasalita, so let them express it through writing. The third element to UDL is the multiple means of engagement. Here, the teacher uses different techniques to reinforce learning at the students' optimal levels. For example, here is a teacher using circular seating arrangements so that she can see all the faces of the students. The students will actively participate, parang challenge sila, and mapupush sila to learn more. Here are the principles of UDL. Principle number 1 is equitable use. Inclusive practices are designed to be useful, appealing, and safe for all students, families, and professionals to use. Individual differences and various contexts are respected. This can be done by the use of UDL principles equitably, using culturally responsive teaching strategies and materials like mother tongue-based multilingual education. Principle number 2 is flexible use. Inclusive practices are designed to accommodate the individual preferences, abilities, and needs of all students, families, and professionals. Flexibility in providing choices for methods and pacing are exercised. Principle 3 is simple and intuitive use. Inclusive practices are designed to be easy for all to use and understand. This can be done by establishing classroom rules and routines, by using graphic organizer for synthesizing material, and developing scoring rubrics with the students. Principle 4 is perceptible information. Inclusive practices are designed so that they communicate valuable information to all through various formats. This can be done by using technological and assistive devices to support learning, communicate with parents, or share information. Principle 5 is tolerance for error. Inclusive practices are designed to minimize errors and unintended consequences by providing safeguards and warning to assist all in using them safely. This can be done by teaching study and learning strategies, teaching self-regulatory techniques, encouraging students and foster their intrinsic motivation, and offering grade alternatives that are valid and appropriate. Principle 6 is low physical effort. Inclusive practices are designed to be used comfortably and efficiently without much effort from all. This can be done by chunking activities and giving more breaks, teaching mindfulness, and providing additional support as needed. Principle 7 is size and space approach and use. Inclusive practices are designed for use by all, regardless of their mobility, physically, or way of communication. This can be done by taking advantage of seat arrangements and classroom furniture, by providing opportunities for outdoor work, and allowing technology as needed. Principle 8 is community of learners. Inclusive practices are designed to promote social interaction and communication for all. This can be done by using project-based learning, promoting collaborative activities such as fishbowl discussions or think pair share, establishing strong home-school partnerships, and classroom check-ins and check-outs. Principle 9 is inclusive environment. Inclusive practices are designed to foster acceptance in a sense of belongingness for all. This can be done by making students aware of and comfortable with diversity, emphasizing social rules in the classroom, allowing bonding activities, and doing team building exercises regularly and integrating lessons in such activities. The second effective evidence-based inclusive practice that can be used in the classroom is the differentiated instruction. Differentiated or differentiating instruction is a teacher's response to students' varying needs, interests, and learning styles. It refers to a systematic approach to planning, curriculum, and instruction for academically diverse learners. Differentiated instruction is a way of thinking about the classroom with the dual goals of honoring each student's learning needs and maximizing students' learning capacity. When teachers differentiate instruction, they use a variety of teaching and learning strategies that are necessary to meet the diverse needs of students in any class. In my example earlier, a teacher let her students read a book, pero yung ibang students niya ay hindi pa nakakabasa. Instead na si teacher na lang ang magbabasa nito sa buong klase, dito sa differentiated instruction, teacher will let her student who is struggling to read listen to a recorded version na lang ng book.
Since yung iba ay nakakabasa naman, teacher will let them read it, but tututukan niya yung hindi pa nakakabasa. Since di pa nga sila nakakabasa, para ma-access din nila yung content ng book, kaya si teacher ay magpi-play na lang para sa kanila ng recorded version ng book. Through listening na lang yung kanilang learning kasi hindi pa nila kaya yung reading.
So, why differentiate instruction?
Bakit nga ba kailangan natin mag-differentiate ng instruction?
All learners are unique and have varying interests, talents, strengths, as well as needs. Hence, it is essential that teaching and learning experiences reflect this diversity. To ensure engaged, successful, and flourishing learners, teaching and learning experiences need to be designed in a way that provide opportunities for students to learn and demonstrate their understanding in varied ways. Thus, differentiating instruction helps ensure that learners are engaged in respectful tasks and provide diverse means of learning that reflects their strengths and address their needs simultaneously.
So, ayun nga po, we need to differentiate instruction dahil yung mga students natin ay iba-iba. Iba-iba din yung needs, yung talents, strengths. So, to address more those differences, para mabigay din natin as teachers yung kanya-kanya nilang needs. Kaya kailangan nating mag-differentiate ng instruction.
How is instruction differentiated? Bender in 2002 identified elements of the curriculum that can be differentiated. First is the content, next is the process, third is product, and fourth is the learning environment. Differentiation is achieved by providing materials and tasks at varied levels of difficulty, with varying levels of instructional support, by using multiple grouping arrangement that involves student choice and the use of varied evaluation strategies. The first element that can be differentiated is the content. This is the answer to the question, what is taught or what is learned?
So, content po is ito yung nilalaman ng ating itinuturo at yung mga natututunan ng student.
Differentiation strategies is by providing additional materials or skills, by reducing materials, or by skills exploration by interest. Next element that can be differentiated is the process, answering the questions, how is it taught or how is it learned?
Ito po ay kung paano tayo magtuturo at yung paraan upang matututo yung ating student.
These are the strategies. Choices of reading materials, varied presentation styles, use media, varied pacing, reading models, think pair share by readiness, interest and learning profile, learning centers or stations, small group instruction, jigsaw, cooperative learning activities, teams, games and activities, cubing and learning contracts. The third element that can be differentiated is the product. How is it assessed or how is learning demonstrated?
Dito po is kung paano natin i-assess yung learning ng ating student.
These are the differentiation strategies. Homework options, student choice on product, maybe oral presentations, written report, role play, simulations, etc. Varied journal prompts, choice boards, tic-tac-toe, tiered activities. This is by readiness and interest. More items for advanced learners, less items for students with special needs, learning contracts by RAFT or the Rule Audience Format TAPI. The fourth element that can be differentiated is the learning environment. How is the classroom arranged?
Dito naman po is kung ano yung setup ng classroom or the learning environment ng student.
These are the differentiation strategies. Flexible grouping, maybe whole class, small groups, one-on-one, peer teaching, pairs, partner learning, independent learning, and cooperative learning. Flexible seating, preferential seating, or pull out from class. This is for learners with special needs. So, how is the classroom managed during differentiated learning? First, explain to the students the reason for differentiation. Make sure this is understood by all. So, kailangan nating explain ng maayos sa mga students yung reason ng differentiation. Hindi lang dun sa student na may special need, kundi sa lahat ng students. Second, use anchor activities which students can automatically work on when completing assigned tasks to maintain a productive work environment and maximize instructional time.
Since we are differentiating, while we are busy sa ibang students na kailangan ng guide or special care, yung ibang students have their free time already. Kailangan nating magbigay ng mga anchor activities so that magiging productive pa din yung kanilang time.
These are the anchor activities options for secondary students and for upper elementary or middle school students. Third is assign rules during small group activities or instruction to ensure accountability and a positive learning environment. These are suggested group rules, but older learners and their teachers may decide on other rules. Learners should have the opportunity to assume each of the rules. Learner's rule can be a facilitator, recorder, summarizer or timekeeper, presenter, or the errand monitor. Fourth is implement routines for collaborative work. Establish working groups, have a plan for quick finishers, or have a plan for when to ask for help.